All right, everybody. I am Lori Ballen in Las Vegas with BallenVegas.com, your Las Vegas and Henderson real estate team, as well as Ballen Brands, your digital marketing company, where we make you click. So today I have the pleasure of interviewing a good friend and a client of mine, Reed Wilson from the Wilson Group in Richmond, Virginia. And we're going to let Reed talk to us today about his short journey in real estate. He's only been in for 5 years and closed 76 homes last year in 2017, which is pretty amazing. And he's going to talk to us today about his lead sources. So, Reed, welcome. What got you into real estate, Reed?
Yes. So no, I honestly, my background was in retail management. Uh, Yeah. So I was there in retail management for 12 years. Just got burnt out of living in malls and not being able to enjoy, any kind of life whatsoever outside of work. And I knew that I just not the way I wanted. So I left retail after 12 years, took 6 months off because I'd been in sales my entire life. Decided to give real estate a shot. And I got into it basically when the market was just kind of tanking and got into it. And here we are, still loving it.
Fantastic. So when I asked you about your lead sources, and this is something I actually find typically amongst real estate agents, is that most of us have two or three lead sources that we're generating most of our real estate business from. I mean, we all have some ancillary and some additional, but usually when I ask, there's a few key ones. And when you broke down your numbers, you discovered that, well, you already knew, but Realtor.com leads that you actually buy are your number one source. And your number two source is your pay-per-click that you actually
Absolutely.
hired my marketing company, Ballen Brands, to do for you. And then your third is referrals. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes.
Okay. So let's dive into this a little bit. So primarily you're getting your business like I do, which is through the internet. So you've got some key strategies and conversion methods for working these web leads, which we'll talk about in a little bit that I know everybody will find very helpful. But let's talk about Realtor.com and how did you get started with Realtor.com?
No, great question. So about 2 years ago, I honestly was never one to pay for leads. I was just always about generating them by referral. But then I knew that I needed to do something to take my business to another level to keep building upon the momentum. So I reached out, I looked into Realtor.com, and I just started in very, very small to get them and then convert them. At the same time, I was also looking to build a team. So it was actually just a perfect match that I was able to hire a team member to serve as a buyer's agent while I did the lead generation. And that's kind of how it started and built upon the success we had last year with them.
Okay, so how many years did you say you've been doing the paid leads with Realtor.com?
About a year and a half. I started middle of 2016.
Wow. Okay, and you
So
said
2017 was the first full year that I had for 12 months.
and you
Yeah,
closed $5 million worth of real estate sales in last year after just getting started with them.
that is correct. Yes.
Okay, so tell me how this works. I know that I've always done well with Realtor.com, but I didn't pay for it. At my previous brokerage, they actually bought a Realtor.com package for us, and somehow we weren't buying zip codes, but we had the ability to enhance our listings and all of that. And I also found at that time that my highest converting web leads actually were Realtor.com, but I've never paid for any of it. So tell me how that works. You're buying zip codes, is that right?
Yes. So what we did was we looked at the areas that we wanted to work in or around our office, around price points that we were excited about. We really specialize in first-time home buyers, so we focused on zip codes that would be in those areas. The way it works on the side is the every zip code is broken into three or four different parts or shares, as Realtor.com calls them. So I buy into a share. Typically, they're about 12-month contracts, so you have to be prepared to commit it. And I don't like a contract, so it took a lot for me to do that. And then what happens is one part of a share or zip code can actually be shared amongst whoever's paying for that zip code. So it could potentially be between 4 different realtors or brokers that are paying for one zip code or one share of a zip code. So you can actually pay for one share, or you can pay for the full 4 to have total control of that zip code.
Okay, great. So you have a 12-month contract. There's 3 or 4 shares per zip code, and multiple agents could share a single share. How does that cost work out?
Yeah, so the Realtor.com account reps, they already have, based on their market, how many leads come from one specific zip code. And then they'll divide that by 3 or 4, however many shares they want to have. And then depending on how many you want to have, we'll break down. So for example, if a zip code, and I'm just speaking generic, but let's say a zip code costs $1,000 for the full share a month, but I don't want to participate in the full share. If I want a quarter of that share, well, then maybe I would pay $250 a month, but also because I'm paying less, I'm also going to get less leads. If that zip code guarantees you, 60 leads a year, well, I may be getting down to 10 to 15 because I'm reducing my cost as opposed to the full share. Great way to start. And that's exactly what I did. When I started, I bought into one share. Oh, and then, my first share that I bought, I started off paying $60 a month. And I think I was guaranteed like 15 leads over the course of 6 months to a year. But I started very small with one share and one zip code.
Okay, and then you're working your way up. So tell me, I don't know, I didn't ask you, so I don't want to put you on the spot, but I know that you've got in here that web leads typically convert at 1 to 2%, which I agree with. If they're cold web leads, they've never heard of you before. We're not talking about cultivating sphere of influence on Facebook or anything like that. Cold leads, just Joe Schmo, you're going to convert 0.5% to a couple percent. I find it hard to find people that are even doing 3 and 4% that can prove multiple sources of cold leads. So, but per source, sometimes they will convert higher. Do you know how your Realtor.com leads are converting, or you just know they're the lion's share of your closings?
Well, based on we did 26 transactions closed from Realtor.com. Over the course of 2017, we received 558 total leads. So that, I think when we figured it out, that's about a 4.6%, rate of the closed transactions versus the number of leads that we got.
So 4.6%. Yeah. So you're closing that's a 4.6%, exactly right. Closing ratio from Realtor.com. That's what I was saying, that web leads can convert at a higher rate per source if you're tracking that source. Yeah. When we take an aggregate of everything, Craigslist, Facebook, Zillow, classifiedads.com and all of those, that's when we start off. That's when we have lower closing percentages. But so I love that. That's fantastic. Do you have the ability to buy more space in your area?
Oh, absolutely. And that's how, so when I say in the very beginning, when I started with a $60 a month share, within 90 days, we had our first closing. So then, and because I don't like a monthly payment, so what I did was took the commission for the team back into and paid that contract off, bought into another zip code with another share, and we just constantly keep reinvesting back into our large demographic of our area. So right now, currently, I'm participating in about 14 different zip codes and shares.
Wow. Okay, that's amazing. So let me ask you, have you done the math on your cost per lead or your cost per sale, actually? So how much, when you close one of these 26 houses, what is your price? What is your average price range on those 26 houses?
So our average sales price is about $245.
Have you figured out how much you're spending then overall, what your cost per sale is what was your cost to acquire that then through Realtor.com?
Not to that not to that detail yet. Basically, what we've been doing, we've just been tracking what we spend versus the team income. Not to that detail just yet.
Okay, so do you know for all of 2017 what the total spend was to Realtor.com about?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was $15,338.
Okay, perfect. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, so let's just say your average house was 245. Now, everybody listening, I really struggle with math. This is hilarious, but it's a true story. I'm very authentic, you'll find with me. So I have to have my calculators, and I have to do it very purposely and strategically. So I tend not to do math live, so this is very scary. But let's let's just take a look here. Commission is never standard. Anybody that's listening, especially the new agents, there's never a standard commission. There's never an average commission. We're not even allowed to talk about average commissions. So let's just say, though, for pulling a number out of a hat here, Reed, that your team is bringing in $7,000 a transaction. We're just going to try to kind of rough estimate here. So if that's 7,000 times 26 houses would be $182,000 in team income. Does that make sense? That's not right. 180. Yep. Okay, so just double check my math. So 26 homes, and let's just say 7,000. Although commission's never standard, it's always negotiable. $182,000 in earnings that you spent $15,000 to obtain. Is that correct?
Yes.
Holy moly. So that's a return of $167,000. Now I'm going to take this one step further, and you can stop me if you don't want to drill down, but you have a team. So correct. Out of those 26 closings, how many of those homes did you pay out in agent commissions to? So you didn't work it, you have a team, you paid it out to somebody else. How many of those deals did you have a cost of sale for an agent expense on?
26. I don't work the lead. Those are specifically for my team agents.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. So out of those 26 deals, you would have paid out to your agents what, 50%, or do you have maybe a different model?
Yeah, it's about 50%. It's a pretty standard team for what we have.
So let's just say out of that estimated 182,000, you pay out 90,000. You never leave the house. You never go work a deal. You have a $90,000 to your operating expense account, and after your cap or whatever whatever your guys' fees are, let's just take that down to a rough estimate of 70,000. And if you're running a team that's 40% profitable, I know I'm really drilling down here, but some people will appreciate this. 70,000 times 40, technically you doubled your money in your pocket at the end of the day without ever leaving.
You're exactly right.
That's absolutely amazing. You doubled your income. The bottom line, we did the math all the way down, and you doubled your income, and you kept somebody else working, and they made money too. So for you strategically, this is absolutely 100% an investment worth doing. Now, I always tell people, I'm an SEO girl, search engine optimization. I love to get my leads by ranking on the search engines. I also love to get leads through Facebook and generating agent-to-agent referrals. But agent-to-agent referrals have a cost of sale because you're going to pay out 25% to 30% on that referral. So you would do very similar math to how that all, that's actually more expensive than your Realtor.com is. And even my sphere of my SEO costs money. I have content that's assets. I've got my website. I've got IDX fees. I've got tools that I'm using on the website. So nothing is free. I hear people say SEO is free, and yeah, right. I mean, you've got tools, you've got software, you're still spending money. However, SEO is proven to have the highest return ROI on investment. But when you can spend pay-per-click and you're converting at 4.6% of those leads, which I have all your tracking sheets here, so I see the evidence. That to me is worth. I would do it all day long. There's no reason why I would not do that. As long as I'm tracking, I can show the return. So, but here's what I do know, Reed, that you also do your pay-per-click marketing through Ballen Brands, which is my company, and you also get a significant amount through that. But both of those strategies, pay-per-click, they're both pay-per-click essentially, or pay-per-lead.
Right.
Essentially, you still have to have a methodology for converting those. So part of the reason you're converting 4.6% of the Realtor.com leads is because of your systems and your processes. So can you tell us a little bit about what happens when a lead comes in? How does your team flow the life of that lead? How is somebody responding? When are they responding? Go through that a little bit with us.
Yeah. So like I said earlier, I don't work the leads. The leads come into me, and as soon as I get a lead, then they're rerouted to one or two of my team members. My requirement is they are to follow up with that lead within 2 minutes, no exceptions. If I don't get a response back, I'm sending it back to another agent to get on top of that really quickly. So the key is get on top of that lead immediately. Those leads are looking for instant responses. So our responses now, while you mentioned we do pay-per-click, those automatically go into an AutoPilot program provided by Ballen, brands, which we love. But because Realtor.com leads are converting higher and they are typically hotter, ready to go leads, we make those initial phone calls up front quickly, probably the first initial phone call, and then again once within 12 hours. If we don't get a response, either time, then they're put on our AutoPilot program to, again, let that work smarter, not harder behind the scenes for us to focus on the new lead that's coming in. So first they're required to respond within 2 minutes. We do the initial follow-ups, and then they get put onto our AutoPilot and drip campaigns.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. So for those of you that are listening that don't know, AutoPilot ISA is actually a software that my company, Ballen Brands, built. And we built it because of my personal pain with generating web leads 24/7. That's what I do. And having a hard time getting to all of them quick enough and responding fast enough. So we created a digital text dialer system that has tested and measured, proven messages that fire from the second a lead comes in. It automatically dials them a text. It has a set of questions, and it's a 3-campaign software. It has an arrival, survival, and revival campaign. And what I'm hearing you say, Reed, is that you don't put them on autopilot like I do the second they come in. If they're a Realtor.com lead, you have that separated so that your people can chase them first. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Those leads, we made a choice that because they're warmer and we're having success, we make those initial calls up front before putting them on autopilot.
Are they answering the phone, or are you also texting them? Do you know how many people are answering the phone? Or
believe it or not, if you can jump on them within 2 minutes, you actually have a very good chance. I would say about 50% of the ones, and I know that may sound high, but that about 50% of the ones we call immediately within 2 minutes, we're grabbing them on the phone because they haven't had time to get distracted yet. They've hit the button requesting more information. They're probably still in front of their computer or on their smartphone. So we have a better chance of grabbing them. If we don't get them, we don't leave a voicemail. We'll send them a text immediately. Hey, this is Reed Wilson of the Wilson Group. Just got your information. Please give me a call back, and we go from there. But we do find that jumping on them really quickly will increase your chance of grabbing them on the phone.
And it's cool because you've got this experience with AutoPilot and you're using it for your Google AdWords campaigns. We can just be working and doing whatever we do, and all of a sudden a text comes back in that's a response from a customer that we didn't even know our machine was texting, and now all of a sudden we've got live bait on the not live bait, that's a terrible word to use, but you know what I mean. We got somebody live now that we can start texting with, which is cool.
We love it. We love it. My team swears by it. I mean, I can't tell you the number of conversions or the leads that have come back in that was touched by the 9th text that it took to get them. We don't have the time to text people 9 times over the course of 2 weeks. So we swear by the program.
So it sounds to me like you guys are handling arrival and you're letting AutoPilot ISA do the survival. Keep
Yeah.
chasing them and churning them until they're it kind of incubate them until they're at that point ready to go.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So is there any other strategies with conversion that we should know about?
Really just kind of the quickness is even though we call within 2 minutes, I mean, we find that other agents are already contacting them. That is the biggest key. Follow up, have a system in place is really what I suggest, to increase your chance of conversion, to have a system in place. Without that, you're not going to succeed with Realtor.com leads. I don't believe you can. You have to have that system in place to increase your chance.
Okay, I'm going to have to look up. I wonder if they have any kind of quoted conversion rate that they believe their leads as an average convert, because yours are very high. That's fantastic. I think we had a 3% tracking, but that was 5 years ago or whatever it was, and before we were doing text and all that. So I would assume higher now. Now your biggest challenges are going to be, I noticed when I asked you on your pre-interview, your biggest challenge you said was that even when you catch people, oftentimes they already have a real estate agent or somebody else has already gotten to them first, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And I actually think that is the reason why conversion rates aren't higher. I don't think it's as much about just agents not doing a good job. I think it is that the fact that a lot of people nowadays like to have their own control. And even if they already have an agent, they're still out there surfing the web for properties, and they register so that they can get the goodies, whether it's photos or downloads or whatever else. And I'm actually tracking this. I have graphs and charts on how many people call me that already have a real estate agent, and that number is growing, and it's over 20%. And so it's a pretty incredible feat to take on web leads, because you have to know that half of the web leads are not going to be valid. They're going to be bad phone numbers. They're going to be bad emails. They're going to be people that already have an agent. They're going to be people that don't qualify, looky lose, that type of thing. So you're really trying to convert the 50% that's remaining.
Yeah.
Now, Go ahead, Reed.
No, I was going to know, you're exactly right. And that's one thing that we know. It is absolutely a numbers game. We have got to generate 100 leads to get 2 appointments. And we know that. So we know, and that's one thing too, for anyone looking to get into this, source, that you're not going to convert or close every one of them. We get it. We learn it. So we just have to constantly keep increasing our shares, our zip codes, our leads, so we can just, of course, have that better opportunity.
All of my business comes, I have an interesting model. So although I have a team, it's not a traditional team. There are people that work under my name and my brand, but essentially I generate the leads and they go close the deal. So I'm not really, I've chosen people that work like I do, that that are honest and ethical and skilled and experienced and all of that. And so I don't really have to be in the office every day with them coaching and training. They just do a good job. And so for me, my full-time business is to generate leads, and primarily do that on the web. But I will tell you, and Reed, I'm sure you'll agree, that we also have to have excellent partners, because if we are counting on what we do, whether we're buying leads or earning leads, and there's a sweet spot combination for all of it, we have to know that whoever we're handing those leads off to is going to be fantastic. We also have to know that we have lenders that we're working with that are also going to get somebody qualified. And there's all kinds of little, it's like the baton race where you're passing the baton. If anybody slows down or anybody drops the baton, you don't get to the finish line. And so building a team and building strategic partners is key to converting these leads. Wouldn't you agree, Reed?
Oh, absolutely. And when you talk about lenders and other partners, when you send that lead to someone to get qualified, they're a representative of us. We're the referral. So you're absolutely right. You have to pick your power team very carefully.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So in closing up this interview, I want to let everybody know that Reed has given us his 10 steps to success with Realtor.com leads, and I can tell you, for the most part, these apply to any web leads. Reed, why don't you just really quick tell us what those 10 are, and then I'll also attach it for everybody to get access to the download or the image.
Sure. So first, like I mentioned earlier, you have to have a good CRM or a system. There's no right one. You just have to have one that you're going to work and works for you. Strategize on lead handling. Are you going to work them yourself? Or you have a team represent them? Then the next one I put, show me the money. Have budget. It's okay to start small. I start with $6 a month, so that way you can scale it to grow. Talk it out. I have a fantastic Realtor.com account rep that I'm happy to share his information if you wanted to contact me. Determine what's happening in your market, the pricing per zip code or shares. Commit to 12 months. You're not going to convert 100 in the first month. You're just not, but commit to at least 12 months. Follow up and work the leads. Again, we talked about the 2 minutes. Our number one goal with every lead is to make the appointment. Ask for referrals. That's actually very important, but just because if you can get a referral from a lead you paid for, that's an extra incentive that you didn't pay for. And we really do ask for referrals for those leads that we did pay for. Pay off. If you start small and you have your first closing, pay that contract off, eliminate that expense while you still have the leads coming in, or invest that team income or your income back into another zip code or increase your opportunities. And then be patient. It's going to take time to build it up.
Yeah, those are fantastic. Absolutely spot on. All right. So you said you've got a great Realtor.com source for everybody if they contact you. Also, I'm absolutely sure that you would love their referrals out there in Virginia. So
absolutely.
Tell them how they can. I'll put all your contact info also in the podcast description and in the write up. But how does somebody reach you?
Yep, absolutely. You can reach me via phone or text at 804-396-4625. You can find me on Facebook, Reed Wilson, or our website, thewilsongrouprva.com.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. You gave us some gold today, and I really appreciate it, Reed. And I'll be seeing you actually very soon for our hands-on workshop. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. No problem. Thank you.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.